We were staying at the Elara Hilton, and the Elara Hilton is attached to Planet Hollywood through a circular mall called the Miracle Mile. I sat down at a slot machine inside of Planet Hollywood right next to Yellow Shop, and then I hear gunfire. Now I hear gunfire over the sound of the casino, which is, you know, a lot of bells and whistles because machines going off or whatever. There was music playing and people talking, so it was, you know, an elevated amount of noise in the casino, and yet I still heard these gunshots, and I mean automatic weaponry. Now let me stop here and say this. I'm from Detroit. I know gunfire. Unfortunately, I'm too familiar with it for that reason, and also because my ex-husband was a Marine, Camp Pendleton, 1st Maintenance Battalion during Operation Desert Storm, and I lived with him on Camp Pendleton at that time. I'm very familiar with gunshots, gunfire, ricochets, echoes, all of that. Also, my father was a police officer all of my life until he retired, and I know gun safety. I know how to clean them. I know weapons. Okay, don't like them too much, but I know them. So I hear gunshots, and in that split second when I hear it, I automatically stop. Like, what's going on? But then my mind was telling me, no, you don't hear gunshots. You know, you're not in Detroit. You're tripping. Maybe it's something else. And then my mind is arguing back like, no, you know what that is. So I was very uncomfortable. And like I said, this is taking place, all this processing, like within a second in my head. And I get up. I'm about to leave or move out of the area. And then much closer to proximity to where my body was, more gunfire, much closer. I would estimate it had to be within a half block of where I was. If you know gunfire, and if you've been around auto weapons, you know that you could feel that in your soul, for lack of a better term. It's a reverberation that you hear when, you know, one of those kind of guns go off, okay? So in that split section, I was already in the motion of getting up out of my chair. I heard the closer one, and I turned around, and I just started running. Now, as I was turning around, I saw people starting to come around this corner. People are starting to pour in, okay? Now, chaos erupted immediately, all right, on the second round of fire. Everybody sort of stopped, stuttered, and paused. The first round of fire, I think they were all processing it just like I was. But the second round, unmistakable. Everybody split, like all different directions, running. I mean, leaping over tables, leaping over just everything. It was chaos, okay? So I'm running, and running some more. I'm trying to get to the right-hand side of the wall. I run past the cashier's cage, and then I see a set of doors that say exit. So I bust through those doors, and then there's like some stairs, and I'm running down the stairs. More stairs, running down the stairs. There's a pile of people behind me. It sounded like a herd of elephants, a herd of buffaloes, but it was a herd of people. I'm looking around, and I said, does anybody know where we are? And we're all looking like, no. Some guy said it looks like a service entrance or service tunnel, whatever. Come to find out, we were in like a service catacombs area underneath the entire casino, underneath Planet Hollywood. This was about 10:30-ish, 10:50-ish. Things started to calm down. I'm starting to process stuff. I'm like, oh my God, somebody's shooting. So my brother, he was looking on Twitter and everything. He said, it's coming up that there's some active shooter on the strip. And I said, where? And so he was scrolling and looking, and he was like, well, it says here there's one at New York, and there's also one at the Aria. And I was like, what? There's more than one of them? And he was like, that's what they're saying. I was like, oh my God. I said, well, what about down here with us? He was like, I don't see nothing. And he scrolled. He said, yep, they said at the Bellagio. They never said Planet Hollywood, but like I said, the Planet Hollywood and Bellagio are so close. I think that it was the same quote-unquote event. About 30 to 45 minutes later, Planet Hollywood sent a security team to come and get us out of that basement. Okay, it was 4 guys. They were armed, so they escort us all marching right back up all those stairs. So we get back up to the casino floor, and it's just eerie. It's totally silent. Nobody on the casino floor except for armed Planet Hollywood security guards, and they're posted ever so often. And the way that they were looking was, if somebody tries to come in here, they're gonna have a war on their hands. They were ready for something. We didn't know what, but they were ready for something. So they put us on this escalator and they took us up to the 4th floor conference center, where they gave us a formal announcement. They said, some security people said, attention, you know, there's an active shooter on the strip. We don't know where you're staying officially, but you are now guests of Planet Hollywood until further notice. The entire Las Vegas Strip is now shut down, and we cannot allow you to leave. And I'm listening to the chatter on the security guards' two-way radios, okay? And I'm listening to the police stream that I also downloaded off of YouTube, so it was the very same one. So I'm hearing shots fired here, shots fired there. Everybody that's upstairs in this conference center area with me is doing the same thing. They're calling loved ones, some of which were also reporting shots fired to their loved ones standing next to me in real time. So when people are saying that there's no proof that these other shots fired happened, I say BS, because I heard panicked people on the phone trying to instruct their loved ones to just stay cool or run or do whatever. And everybody who was talking sincerely knew or thought they knew that their lives were potentially in danger. Okay? There's no way around that. Nobody can argue that point. Okay? Every single person that comes forward who was involved in running away from that stuff that night had the exact same feeling. Oh, here's another question that kept coming up. How come there's no other video? How come there's no other pictures from other people? I will tell you why. Because they told us not to tweet or live stream, because it would be giving away the tactical positions of the police officers. There was a bomb threat at the Luxor Hotel. And when that occurred, Homeland Security showed up. Now, here's what I find very, very funny about all this media coverage, okay? Everybody's talking about the LVPD and everybody's talking about the FBI. But I know for a fact Homeland Security was there and they were running shit. They were running everything, okay? FBI wasn't there yet. I heard things, I saw things, and when I wake up the next day, none of that is a fact anymore, okay? And not only that, people are acting like none of that ever happened. I'm like, wait a minute. What do you mean it didn't happen? We're all here. We all know that it happened. All right? Why is the police saying that someone that got killed last night committed suicide this morning? Why is it that we had shots fired everywhere legitimately? Because I mean, I heard shots myself. So if somebody told me somebody shot down in New York, I'm going to believe that. Because somebody shot at me or near me at Planet Hollywood. I'm not discounting what people are saying. It's everybody else who wasn't there armchair guessing what's going on, because it's obvious that they're being lied to. But they don't even know to the extent to which they are being lied to. And everybody knows that they're lying. Everybody. The general public is just catching up, but we knew in less than 3 hours after all this happened that they were lying. The next day after my brother got married, he still got married the next day. The whole strip on the other side of the street from Planet Hollywood was still locked down. The whole strip, as far as car traffic, was still locked down. There was no cars. It was a ghost town on the street. And everybody knows in Las Vegas is a whole bunch of Uber traffic and taxis and everything. Not that morning. They told us that the entire other side of the strip was considered a crime scene. All of it. From Mandalay Bay all the way down to the damn end. And they didn't let people go across that bridge to get there. We had to walk on one side of the street. Period. For hours. Until they decided that they were done doing whatever it was that they were doing over there. I ain't seen no news media. I did not see one news truck. I did not see one CNN, one ABC, one nobody. No Fox, no nobody. Okay? They weren't asking us anything. They weren't interviewing us. So, I don't know where they were taking place. Besides, you know, the hospital. I left $128 in that slot machine that I ran from. I did not run away from my imagination. Nor did I just run away from $128 for some, I think maybe it could have been firecrackers or possibly some shot somewhere stuff. No. I left money. I left food. They were shooting. Right there at the door at Planet Hollywood. Or very close in proximity to it. Flat out, period. So I go to the cashier. He looks at the timestamp, whatever. And so he asked me, were you here with all that went down last night? I said, yeah. He said, what happened? And so I told him briefly what had happened. He looks at the cashier next to him and he said, I told you so. So she looks back at him and says, well, why are they telling you guys not to say so? He was like, I don't know. I didn't say so. She did. Pointing at me. So from that, I gathered that the employees that were even there at the time were threatened to keep their damn mouths shut. We think that they were lying about the fact that multiple people were able to carry out this attack and they couldn't do nothing about it.